Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my own Conquest unit ranking. I can't believe I haven't done a proper tier list for this yet. I think I did a ranking a while ago, and it was just kind of like in the game, just talking about a ranking like that. But I haven't done a tier list. Now is a great time to do it. We have 19 Conquest units in the game, 18 that people actually have their hands on. But to start, let me just talk about, I don't know really how good SM33, I guess that's his name, and Jocasta are. We don't have SM33 in a game, like unlocked yet. No one has them. And Jocasta, we don't have her team. She's going to go with Jedi Master Mace Windu, who is not in the game yet. No one has him. And then she's going to be using Jedi Vanguard, which was a tag given to all the old crappy Jedi, but there's some new Jedi that are actually good. That's what she's going to go with. So I have no idea. And reading through SM33's kit, I don't know either how he's going to be, because it depends on what pirates we have, which isn't really an existent faction yet. So with that said, this ranking is compared within the Conquest unit world. If something is in B tier here, doesn't mean overall it's a B tier character, it just means compared to the Conquest units. And I'm also going to be trying to think about all game modes, but there's a hierarchy there, like GAC is more important than TW, and then there's TB is kind of a wild card, but let's just get started. Everybody knows that Boba Fett Scion of Django, notwithstanding his current focus datacron, is the worst Conquest unit in the game, pretty much. Not a priority, not a rush for pretty much anyone. Even in TW with his Omicrons, he's falling into less and less use. Because his main thing was countering Lord Vader, and now Lord Vader's getting better. So he is the bottom of the barrel. Not someone I'm going to even upgrade when I get him on my small account. And until this Focus Datacron came out, I had no real use for him on the main account for years. Right above him, in his own category as well, is Trench, and he's D tier because he is pretty good in TW still. Like, his Omicron is pretty nice. If you're not using it for a specific counter, it is pretty tough on defense. And there's usually some kind of datacron that actually really helps out there. TB don't really use him. GAC, he does see some use. Unlike Boba Fett Scion Django, he doesn't ever really see use. So, Trench earning his spot in the D tier. Next for C tier, also a small tier. We don't actually have any characters. We just have one ship, the TIE Interceptor. And this is the last of the tiny tiers. It's just like, it's weird. There's so many good Conquest units, it's hard to fill out the bottom. So it's not going to be a true bell curve. But TIE Interceptor is great, but the main value to it is just it's going to be reducing the cooldown of your Empire ship. And the Empire fleet overall has just been nerfed by other fleets getting buffed. Executor got buffed, and then as a response, Leviathan got buffed, and then Chimera is just kind of sitting there. Okay, what about me? You can use it, obviously, with Chimera or Executrix, and they both have some value. They're like, I don't know, maybe the 5th or 6th best fleet at this point. So they do have some value, but definitely fallen a little bit since their peak. And TIE Interceptor, whether I bring it out in a battle, I have it in the reinforcements or not, is kind of hit or miss. Like, sometimes I don't even want it as the second reinforcement. Sometimes I want something else. So C tier seems good for that. It definitely has some value, but it's kind of down there at this point. So what do we have in the B tier, and what makes characters B tier characters? We have Scythe. So just think about the discussion I had with TIE Interceptor. That largely applies to Scythe, although Scythe is better. Makes any fleet it's starting on better, any Empire fleet. Really strong when you give it the chance. And it's just the more important piece than TIE Interceptor. But it is B, so it's fallen a bit. So I think there are 4 Conquest ships, and it's coming in as the bronze medalist. Now over here, this is kind of what I think of now as the lifter tier. So these are lifters, aren't really doing that much on their own anymore. Maul is at the top because he does have his own team. It's just not as good as it once was. It's one of those teams I don't really use at all anymore. And with the fact that Lord Vader is getting a brand new team that doesn't include Maul, definitely knocks him down a peg. Whereas if I did this a few months or a year ago, he'd definitely be at least at A tier. But he is B tier. It is more of the lifter tier. We have Darkseid Rey. funny enough, we have the evil Ray and the good Ben. Those are lifters to themselves. It's just an odd setup. I have Ray a little bit higher than Ben because I think Supreme Lord Kylo with his lifter Ray is better than good Ray with her lifter Ben. Supreme Lord Kylo with the lifter is kind of a juggernaut on offense. In defense, it's pretty tough too. Like there's way less counters that can work on Supreme Lord Kylo. It used to be kind of a joke on defense, and on offense, the problem was you didn't really recover protection in GAC, so you didn't get banners back. But now she really helps with all that. The reason she's not like A tier or anything higher is because outside of GAC, she's pretty crap. I mean, a lot of her Omicrons are pretty much all that there is to her. Same with Ben. I mean, he's fine, I guess, with Ray. Like, you still want to use him with Ray outside of GAC and TB or TW, but he's just not that great. He's not hitting under protection. He's not doing forward turn healing immunity. He's not doing the revive back and forth thing. He does protect Ray a little bit, but so yeah, all of these are just kind of mid, upper mid. Like, they're definitely quality. I mean, Maul with ISC, pretty good damage, but on my main account where I have him, I don't have him on the small account. The only real value I have for that is, you know, maybe a cleanup on a JMK that has Ahsoka Tano and General Kenobi or something left. I don't know. Just not getting as much use anymore. So definitely seems fitting for all these to be in a B tier. And for the A tier, this is where we really start seeing the quality. Got, again, 3 characters in a ship. Razor Crest. Very important, you know, part of the second best fleet in the game. Kind of like top 1, top 2 with Leviathan. Leviathan is clearly better, but Executor is amazing as well. So, and really key fleet. It's the only one that's going to start in any lineup. It's around the taunt, you know, does the mark. If Razor Crest wasn't there in most lineups I'm facing, a lot of like when I'm attacking Executor, a lot of problems would be solved with him, with it not flying around marking everything and just willy-nilly ignoring taunts, which is such a rarity in ships. It's not a rarity in land anymore, but it's a rarity in ships. It's just got a lot of durability. The 2 lives. It's very pesky. When I'm having a scrappy battle against Executor on my small account, Razor Crest is almost always the last thing I have to kill. So very much quality, but it's A tier. It's not S tier. The last ship will be S tier. As far as land characters, we have Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, Malgus, and Luthen. Now, Malgus has a bit of a weakness in that he's nowhere near as good outside of GAC, but he is still quite useful. Like sometimes if you want to use Darth Revan late, he's still adding a lot of value, still doing a lot of damage, adding a lot of doubt out there, shock. His leadership is still pretty good. But in GAC, he is one of those A tier teams where, you know, when there's a new unit or team that comes out, it's trouble for a lot of characters and sometimes even some GLs. Malgus, a lot of times, is the answer to that. So we just see a lot of value come back out all the time for Malgus. You know, when he was released, he was definitely S tier in my mind, but at this point, he is mid A tier. Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, I love, because you don't need any Omicrons on him for his team to be really nice. Like, he has a really great team, especially in 5v5 and 3v3. It's a little bit weaker, but still strong. It punishes turn meter like no other team. The defense and offense nerfs to it just makes your team hit so hard and the other team hits so weak, just 1 damage a lot of times. So it is just such a nice tool to have in your toolbox of just, okay, there's a turn meter team, I'm throwing him at it. And since he works just as well in JC as TW, is also doing great in TP if you decide to use him. Well, actually, I don't really use him that much, but most of the kit's all there. And the Omicrons are really just enhancements. It's not like GAC units like Rey, where the whole kit is basically locked behind Omicron, so it's not like that. And then Luthen, A tier. I think some people would argue for S tier, but I think I've come a long way in putting him up here, and this will affect my rankings of all the non-GL characters when I get to it, because I have thought through it more. Yeah, he has some GL counter potential, but honestly, I think his main value is on defense, being a really pesky team that you have to either buck up and use a leftover GL or something for, or a really strong like S tier type non-GL team like Riva or Malicos or something like that. Just really good, really. It's weird how good he is. I don't fully even understand it. Well, it's just really hard to kill him under a solo team when you have like an attack, like Katarn there as an attacker, or Rex to be annoying too. He's just really good. And he is like a 2-for-1. He's got his little guy there that starts out taunting. So just a really, really powerful, valuable character. So he rounds out the A tier, and now we finally come to the creme de la creme, the cream of the crop in the S tier. And I will admit it's a large tier for an S tier, and I've broken it up into 2 groups. S tier B. This is Fury class Interceptor. That's the best Conquest ship, especially in terms of value. If you look at value, I mean, Razor Crest is the easiest to get because it's in the fleet store. But if you're looking at Proving Grounds ships, this is the one to rush because it is the key in the gate to the best fleet in the game, Leviathan. Like everything else in Leviathan's fleet, there's some kind of creative lineup, or at least there used to be, where you start with, you sub out one of the starting units, but you always leave in Fury. Fury is the identity of that Leviathan fleet and makes it run. And it's so good that before Leviathan came out, when everyone had most of their ships ready, they could run it with just like a random other fleet like Mace Windu or something, and you get some holds. So very strong. Malicos and Cat. Cat is 4th in the S tier, which I think a lot of people like. That's a big concession for me. Like I highly value Cat still to this day. I don't think people fully understand everything she's doing with the stats. The stat boosts are crazy. That's like, I guess it's not before any Datacrons, but like it's on top of any Datacron modification you have. You have 50% health, 50% offense, crit damage, defense. I'm pretty sure that's what they are. And I mean, with JMK, her best spot, she makes him the team that he is. Like, he is not. It's like she's the GL and he's, kind of the enabler. Put her with a Padme team, or some people I've even heard use her dash. Like, she's just so flexible with her tags, what she can do. Really nice. And there's TB missions I can't beat unless I throw Cat in there. Like on Zepho, the Ray mission, like it's really a struggle until I throw Cat in there. Because you can't use a Datacron in TB. There's no way to augment your stats unless it's abilities. So I just think her versatility and value puts her really up there. Now, Malicos is a little bit below. In GAC, he is just a beast. He is just yoked. He does so much damage, and him, admittedly with Starkiller now to do the big stuff, he just, the damage he puts out and the way he can take care of his team through his uniques. He's basically the leader without being the leader. I don't know. Like, when you throw the rocks, it never gets old. It is just such a powerful amount of force, just taking anything out. I mean, one of my favorite teams to use. I love Malicos, and he's going to be good on defense too. Outside of GSC, he really just falls off a cliff, kind of. So he is really locked behind those Omicrons, but those Omicrons and how he does GSC are so good that he is up there for me for sure. That leads us to the top of the S tier. And we have Queen Amidala, Ezra, and then a very large presence for Bane. So I don't know if you think I should have done like an 8, these are 8 tiers on it, but I wanted to respect Luthen and Malgus and all that. And I didn't want Rey and Ben being in C tier. It just didn't make sense to me. But Bane, I think it's obvious. I think he's the best character in the game. Most people do too. And that's despite not being able to use him on defense at all. He is the 10th GL. He is the most economical team in the game. You only need one other character, and most of the time it doesn't really matter too much which Sith you bring. It's just you need a Sith to activate everything for him, and he gets it done. He can beat Leia. He can beat Ahsoka in the right circumstances. He can beat Supreme Leader Kylo. He has trouble mainly against like JMK, Rey. I know. He is just way too good. But don't change, don't nerf him, please. I love how he works. It's just, that's one of the main questions you have to ask yourself in GAC, and one of the strategic points is how you are using your Bane. You save your Bane for the back, or use your Bane on the front. I just, when he was released and his kit was put out, I really slept on him. I didn't anticipate him being this good, and for the first week or so, I still was stuck in the mindset of like, oh, he's the lifter to Sith Eternal. But no, he's his own guy. He gets it done. You can put him with Sith Eternal and take out some like top tier teams, but it's going to be a lot to merit that, because I don't know. So enough about him. I'll talk about Ezra last. Queen Amidala, she is third for me because her team is so good in GAC as her best, but even in TW. I mean, in TW, you probably need to slap an Omicron on Qui-Gon. And Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are really good, and they're really big parts of how her team is so valuable. But she right now is, and she's the best raid team right now. Or, I mean, Arc can consider like really good too if you put them all in R9. But like, she's really, really strong. And it's one of those teams where if you don't have the right thing, you're just not getting by it. It's just not going to happen. They have infinite sustain ability. They can just recover all their other protection. If you get them all the way down to the bottom, if you don't have a killing blow lined up right away, it doesn't matter. They're coming all the way back. And that decoy is so annoying. Just how it's like the classification. This is not a character. You can't debuff it. You can't do anything. You can't do anything to it. You just have to kill it, and then it'll come back. And it's really tanky and really annoying. So she is fantastic, Queen Amidala. And then Ezra. So I, also kind of slept on Ezra. It's taken me a while, but I've kind of come to respect and realize the transcendency of Ezra. In the Rebel show, I didn't finish the show, but the Rebel show, he was just kind of like the kid trying to tag along. He's a goofball. He eventually is growing into his own self. Even in the new show, he was kind of a goofball too. You want to take us prisoner? Yeah, let's do that. It's kind of a goofy guy, so I don't know, that kind of might have clouded how I viewed him as his character Ezra Exile. But it's just ridiculous. Like he's just so hard to hit. Like he's doing so much stuff for that team. He's so good that he's kind of like Cat, where he's flexible on what team he's going to go to. He's way more flexible in the player base's mind, because they are willing and able, like they want to use him with Rey instead of Ahsoka, who's designed for it. Whereas Cat, she works great with Rey, but no one's really doing that at scale. Only people that don't have Jam Kit. Yeah, you put him with anyone, and I had a match recently where he was the only one left. He had like 1 HP or like no HP. He just was in the red, and I brought a full trade team. It was 3v3, and I still barely won. Like he almost killed multiple units of my team multiple times, and I was just shot. I just was caught off guard. He, when I'm beating Rey with Malicos and Starkiller, sorry, my mic keeps like casting a shadow on me. I need to try and avoid that. But I had Malicos and Starkiller. I killed Rey and Ben, and then Ezra just cleaned up Starkiller or Malicos and Starkiller. One time I think I squeezed it out, but that's happened multiple times where he just kills them, and he's ramped at that point. His mastery includes dodge and deflection, so he's like the Matrix man. He just dodges everything. His damage gets up. Damage is also part of his mastery, so that ramps up a lot. The backup plan, the turn switch, he grants turns to people. He puts his exile on people, which is a really strong debuff. He's just unique. He's just a unit. He's just a heck of a character, and he works well outside of GAC too. So that's all you want there. So there you go. That's my tier list. Argue if you want. I'm happy to hear different perspectives, but I think people should be happy that I put Ezra this high, because on my character rankings, it's always everyone's, you need Ezra higher, you need Ezra higher, you need Ezra higher, you need Luthen higher. So I've granted a lot of those points. Interested to see how Jocasta and this droid come into play later, but for now, still question marks. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.